Welcome to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jen Trepic, talking wellness and weight loss for real life. We're here to clear up the myths, misinformation, bad science, and marketing to teach you how to eat and how to cheat. Are you ready? I'm having salad with a side of fries. This week, we're talking about IQ bars. So these were brought to my attention by one of our Healthy Vibe Tribe members, and I don't know if you've seen them. I hadn't tried them, and then what was interesting to me about them is that they talk about the use of lion's mane, and of course, I then, made a note of it. Lion's mane is a mushroom, by the way. So I made a note for us to look at them together, and now here we are. So as I always do, I started with their website, and I like to look at the marketing first, and then see if the nutrition facts and the ingredients all back up, the marketing claims. So right when you go to their website, it says plant protein bars, everyday brain and body fuel, protein for strength and satiety, brain nutrients for sharpness, ultra low sugar for zero crash, everything you need to win your day. And then this is my favorite line. They say IQ bar for smart mouths or smart mouths, Anyway, I liked it. All right. So then I went to the About section of their website to get a little bit more info. So they say, we meticulously formulate IQ Bar protein bars, IQ Mix hydrate mixes, and IQ Joe instant coffees around functional brain and body nutrients. So a quick note here, as you're listening, I'm only looking at the bar. So if you've tried any of their other products, or if you want us to look at any of those other products, let me know. We can do a separate nutrition nugget on those. So underneath that little description, they have all of their icons. So it says non-GMO, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, vegan, kosher. And in my mind, when I see those, I'm like, okay, noted. But the truth, to me, all of these icons tell me about what's not in the bar, but our health outcomes are about what is in them. So then they say, scrolling down, brain nutrients are magnesium, lion's mane, flavonoids, MCTs, and vitamin E. Body nutrients, complete protein, prebiotic fiber. So, all right, got it. Let's go look at the nutrition in depth. So I went to the chocolate sea salt flavor because that's what the Healthy Vibe Tribe sent over. So they say under this bar, our chocolate sea salt bar delivers all the flavor of decadent, salty sweet, dark chocolate brownie with none of the guilt. Unlike processed chocolate snacks, we use ground cacao beans in their raw state for maximum nutrition and energy. All right, that sounds great, but let's see what we got. So reading the nutrition facts, serving size is 1 bar. 170 calories, 12 grams of fat, of which it's 3 grams of saturated fat. Total carbs is 10 grams, of which we have 8 grams of fiber, 1 gram of total sugar, 0 grams of added sugar, 12 grams of protein, then a little bit of calcium and potassium, a bit of iron and magnesium, and quite a bit of vitamin E. So on this, before we even look at the ingredients, I like the 2 grams of net carbs, right? We have 8 grams of fiber, right? 10 grams of total carbs, 8 grams of fiber gives us 2 grams of net carbs. Big fan of that. I'm a big fan of the 8 grams of fiber. The 12 grams of protein is about 1.5 ounces. So not bad. I mean, normally we would say a snack is, 2 to 3 ounces. A meal is more 4 to 6 or 6 to 8. The fat in this is more than we'd like it to be depending on the source, right? So this may not be as much of an issue, but we'll see when we get to the ingredients where the fat's coming from. So given the protein, fiber, and fat combination, for me, this would last 2, maybe almost 3 hours if I ate this. I think the claim of the magnesium, being for the brain and that kind of stuff, I think it's a bit inflated here given the amount that I'm seeing. I should mention, by the way, all the micronutrients, they're only giving amounts based on percent daily value, not milligrams. So it's not totally clear. But then also, given the amount of vitamin E, I'm guessing that they're using the vitamin E as their preservative more so than because it's actually supporting brain health. All right, let's look at the ingredients. So I'm scrolling here. All right, ingredients. Almonds, protein blend that's made of pea protein crisps that are made of pea protein and tapioca starch, and then pea protein. Natural flavors is our third ingredient. A prebiotic blend made of tapioca fiber and vegetable fiber, cocoa, coconut oil, unsweetened chocolate, water, cocoa butter, sea salt, lion's mane, stevia plant extract, and vitamin E. So I'm sort of like, where do we start? All right, I like the protein sources are the top ingredients, right? They claim that it's a complete protein and vegan. So we see here how they did this. It's the combination of the pea protein and the almonds. So pea protein gives us lysine, isoleucine, and phenylalanine. It's low in methionine and cysteine, which are higher in the almonds. So we get the complement, right, of amino acids. Almonds are also lower in lysine, which we're getting from the pea protein. So I see how they're using these two in combination. Now, with that said, I think the balance between amino acids may not truly qualify as a perfect protein, but still, I like what they're doing here. I feel like it's, they're thoughtful about this piece. I don't love that natural flavors is the third ingredient because we don't know what those are, what they're using them for, and that there's more of those than the fiber that comes after it. I like the 8 grams of fiber. They call it the prebiotic blend in the ingredients, and that's coming from tapioca fiber and vegetable fiber. And those aren't necessarily my favorite sources of fiber, but I get it. Okay, I'm getting picky. Fair enough. Next in the ingredient list, we should talk about the coconut oil and the cocoa butter. So these look like the sources of fat. There's also some fat coming from the almonds. Remember I said that the fat was more than we really wanted it to be, but we need to know the sources. So the truth is, the coconut oil and the cocoa butter, neither of these are giving us the healthful fats that we truly need. We are getting some fat also from the almonds, and those are more of the fats that we want. But again, I just think not my favorite piece of this. And the beauty of though, everybody gets to decide if coconut oil works for them. I will say there's a physician that I work with who cautions against coconut oil for those with insulin resistance. So he said the saturated fat from the coconut oil can sit inside the insulin receptor sites and exacerbate the insulin resistance. So do with that what you will. That's what he says. The other piece to note here is they said somewhere on the site, right, that there's MCTs. None of that is in this bar. So maybe that's speaking to their other products. And then now we get to the lion's mane. So we've talked about lion's mane in our episodes on mushrooms and our episodes on psychedelics and microdosing. So you could go back to those. But essentially for today, lion's mane is a mushroom known for brain health and gut health, which gives us mood support and immune support. There's also some cognitive function support. And the challenge that I have here is that they don't tell us the source or the quantity of the lion's mane. So depending on the desired benefit, you might need doses of 500 milligrams to 3,000 milligrams, which is 3 grams. So that's a wide range. And that range can also depend on the quality of the ingredient. So I think, by the way, for mood benefit, if that's what you were looking for, that tends to be more on the lower end of that range. But like I said, the quality of the source makes a difference too. So I wish we were given quality and quantity information. So based on the fact that we don't have that, maybe take this claim with a grain of salt and see what you notice if you try this bar, see how you feel. And then on the magnesium front, I think this is also worth noting, it's a relatively small amount. It's not listed in the ingredients. So on this bar, any magnesium is likely just coming from the ingredients naturally. And the almonds, basically. And I'm not sure if there's magnesium claim. I don't know. To me, it's the magnesium is similar to the MCT, right? Maybe this is really more about other products than, this bar. Finally, we see stevia is the only sweetener and it's near the end of the list, so I'm not mad about that. And I think all in, right? Where does this leave us? Like everything, I think the question is this as opposed to what? If this is super chocolatey and delicious, maybe even just part of the bar becomes like a little dessert and really serves a great purpose for you. For a plant protein bar, I like the sources and the balance of amino acids in the protein here. I like the amount of fiber, not my favorite sources, but that's okay. Without knowing the quantity or quality of the lion's mane, I would say you have to see how you feel, if you notice any of those benefits here. I don't think I would eat this bar every day, but I would certainly add it to my rotation. I would try it. I'm not the biggest chocolate person, so maybe I should look at another flavor, which reminds me, be sure, check out the label, review the label, because every flavor, even from the same company, can be completely different. But there you have it. That's the IQ bar. Well, as always, everybody, I'm your host, Jen Trepeck. Connect with me on Instagram or all social media. I'm at Jen Trepeck, JENNTREPECK. Website is asaladwithasideofries.com. Please send a message, whatever platform is easiest for you. I love hearing from you. So share your ideas, your takeaways, your questions. This is also the easiest way to get more information about working with me as your health coach. Thank you again to Ashley Fillmore for joining us this week. And friends, if you are not already, join our membership program by going to glow.fm/saladwithasideofries. This shows your support for this podcast, this community, and of course, your health. You'll get this week's recipe for the pizza salad with creamy Parmesan vinaigrette and your quarterly live Q&A that's a one-on-one health coaching session just you and me. Well, friends, that's it for today's episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. Congratulations for making yourself and your health a priority. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to click subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Share us with a friend, and we'll be back next week. Always remember, you deserve it, and you are worth it. Happy healthy.